Hey there. So many of us are on this search, right? A search for success that actually lasts and for a happiness that feels, well, real. Today, we're going to dive into some profound ancient wisdom that suggests moral education isn't just about being good, it's about building the very foundation for a truly meaningful life.
So, to really figure out where we're going, sometimes you got to look at where we are right now. And in the world of modern business, there's this fascinating realization starting to happen. A sense that something absolutely fundamental has been missing from our equation for success. Something you just can't measure on a balance sheet.
And you know what's wild? This isn't some quote from an ancient philosopher. This is a lesson learned the hard way, right from the top of the corporate world. There's this rediscovery happening that the character of the people in a company is its ultimate asset. Maybe even more important than the product itself.
And wow, if you want a real-world example of this, just look at Enron. This company was a giant, an absolute symbol of success, but it all came crashing down, seemingly overnight. And it wasn't because of a bad product or a market shift. Nope. It was a deep, profound moral failure at its very core. It's just such a powerful reminder that without that foundation of virtue, even the tallest skyscrapers are just built on sand.
Okay, so when we see a problem like this kind of moral challenge in our society, what's our go-to solution? Well, we usually reach for the most powerful tool we think we have. And that leads us to a really big misunderstanding. It's like we have this built-in belief, that if we just throw enough money at a problem, we can fix anything. So if our moral compass feels a little broken, we think, well, let's just fund some better programs. But is the heart of the issue something money can actually buy?
Let's look at a real-world example of this in action. In the United States, facing these exact same concerns, the government decided to throw money at the problem. The budget for moral education started at $250 million. Then in 2002, they tripled it to $750 million. A massive investment, right? And the result? Pretty much nothing. No real discernible change. The lesson here is huge. We tried to buy a solution, but it turns out this kind of problem just isn't for sale. The roots go way, way deeper than our pockets.
So if our usual solutions aren't working, then we really have to ask ourselves, what's the real problem here? What are we missing? Just how disconnected have we become?
Check this out. A survey of over 8,000 high school students gives us a clue. And honestly, the results are kind of shocking. Over 70% admitted they'd cheated. Almost the same number, 68%, had been in a physical fight. And over a third had stolen something. Now, these numbers point to a pretty big pattern, but it's the next piece of the puzzle that really reveals the paradox we're in.
But here's the part that'll really make your head spin. Almost all of those same students, 96%, also said they believed they were people of high moral character. How is that even possible? It's like our whole idea of what's good has changed. It's shifted from a compass we all share to a personal map where we each draw our own lines, no matter what our actions actually are.
It's moments like this, when we're completely stumped, that looking back to ancient wisdom can be so powerful. Because the key to this whole modern puzzle might just be hiding in the ancient meaning of a word we all think we know. Let's take a look at the Vietnamese word for education, Giáo Dục. Now, to us, that's one word, one idea. But for the ancient sages, it was actually two separate, powerful concepts, two beautiful, connected pillars that held up the whole idea of how to raise a good human being. Okay, so let's break this down. First, you have Jal. The meaning here is basically what those above do, those below will follow. It's all about leading by example. Simple as that. Then you have Juk. This part means to nurture, to grow, to lovingly care for the innate goodness that's already inside someone. It's not about forcing rules on them, it's about awakening their character. So when you put those two ideas together, Gao and Zuk, you get this beautiful, holistic picture. It tells us that real education, the kind that truly matters, isn't about lecturing, it's about inspiring. It's way less about what we say and so much more about who we are.
And this whole philosophy is built on such a beautiful, hopeful idea, captured in this old saying. It means that at birth, our nature is fundamentally good. Think about that. Goodness isn't something we have to build from nothing. It's already there, like a seed inside every single one of us, just waiting for the right conditions to grow. And the most powerful thing that helps it grow? Seeing the goodness in someone else's example.
So what does this all mean for you and me right now in our daily lives?
The path it shows us is actually incredibly simple, though it does take commitment. It starts by looking inward, not outward. Before we ask our kids or our coworkers or the world to be better, we have to ask it of ourselves first. We have to become the living example of the world we want to see. And when you do that, something amazing happens. People are moved. They're inspired. Not because you force them, but because there's this quiet resonance. The goodness in your actions calls out to the goodness in their hearts.
At the end of the day, this ancient wisdom isn't just some interesting fact from a history book. It's a mirror. It's holding a mirror up to every single one of us. And it's gently asking us to remember that our life itself is a teaching. Every action we take is setting an example. So I'll just leave you with this one simple question to think about. What story is your example telling the world today?
So, if you found this little explainer useful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next share. Thanks so much for your time.